Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to yet another show of the Goodcast. That's right. Today we are talking to a strategy consultant, not just business. This man specializes in personal, non-profit and business strategy. He's been in the business for 3 years now. He has a very, very nice voice, perfect for podcasting and radio. Perhaps you could consider that. Please welcome Mr. Kajen. How are you?
Hi, everybody. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You really should interview for BFM or something. I think perfect voice, very deep. I'm very envious. Maybe we should cut this interview short, not to display your talent. So let's get right into it, man. You are a strategy consultant. Mm-hmm. How did you get into this field?
Okay, so let me give a background of the story.
Please do.
Okay, so when I was young, during my teenage life, I always wanted to try new things.
Okay.
I always wanted to be something bigger and more profound. So I went on creating new things. Mm-hmm. Okay. One day I'll be creating a non-profit for wildlife conservation. And then next day you will see that I created something on men's fashion, mm-hmm. right? So I kept on creating something, day in, day out. And one problem that I noticed after a while is that there is no sustenance, mm-hmm. right? Because there's a lot of overflow of ideas that I couldn't sustain things. Mm-hmm. And so COVID happened, right? That is where I put a full stop. Okay, you know what? Let's pause this. Let me identify what would bring a lot of a purpose to myself,
okay.
right? Something that I wouldn't mind doing day in, day out for the rest of my life. And I took 2 years a break. And that is why I realized that whatever that I was doing, I saw a pattern in it, mm-hmm. which is the business of growth. Mm. I want to be part of growth, right? Not just for myself, but to other people as well. So I realized that strategy consulting is my thing personally, because my first employer was, I was part of an AI company, mm-hmm. right? And we had the CEO, the chief operating officer. It was my first day in the company. And I see that they were very much misaligned in a lot of things, right? The CTO was misaligned, the CEO was misaligned. And they brought in a strategist from a different, third-party strategist. And I totally loved the way how he was able to get to the point, align the team, and get it towards the goal, and establish strategies from it, And I was very much interested, So fast forward, I joined in with another AI company as a business strategist, and now I'm establishing something of my own. Yeah, so that is that.
Nice, very nice. I wish I had known you in my earlier years. I was always just like you. I always have a lot of ideas. Even now, sometimes I have to physically stop myself. Like, okay, calm down, buddy. One idea at a time. One idea per year.
Yeah.
But so in a role of a strategist, as a strategist, how do you work with entrepreneurs in working who have an idea? How do you work with them to get their idea into fruition?
Okay, so let's try to understand the fundamental. What is strategy, and why do you need strategy in the first place?
It's very important,
right?
Very important.
You need strategy because there is limited resources, scarcity, right? If you had everything, right, you wouldn't need strategy. You can afford to fail, try again, fail, try again, fail, try again, and go on, right? It is because there is limitation in resources that you need a strategy, right? And that is a point that businesses miss out as they progress. My job as a strategist is to make sure that they know what they are good at, right? And what are they weak at, and look at their resources. What are the things that they can afford to do? And what are their end goals? And make sure that they're going towards that. As simple as that.
As simple. So that means you basically help them identify their strengths, weaknesses.
Exactly.
Something like a SWOT analysis.
Exactly.
But what sort of a comprehensive analysis, what do you carry out in all of your clients to help them achieve, to find out their strategic goals?
Yeah. So there's a beautiful saying, to know a dance, you need to know the dancer. Okay.
Nice. I like that. To know a dance, you need to know the dancer.
Yeah.
I love it.
So we need to know what is this business about. and what are the goals of the people involved in the business, the stakeholders, right? And oftentimes that is the big issue, right? That is where the big issue lies. There's no alignment in place, all right? Yesterday, I was having a conversation with my role model, Samuel Kim, and we were speaking about how technical problems are solvable. The most critical issue is people problem.
Yes, agreed, 1000%.
So we need to align the stakeholders. Let's say you want to start a startup and you have a few people, the key people. We want to align all of you towards the same goal.
Okay.
And that is the hardest part to do. Once we have done that, strategy is an easy aspect to do. You just need to know what are the things that you're good at and what is the product really about or the service really about. And what do you envision this product service in the future? And you would want to create strategy based on that. Let's say you want to build profitability or something like that. We can build it. That is not a problem. But we need to align the team first. That is a problem of most businesses today. Yeah.
Okay. I being an entrepreneur, I was an entrepreneur for a while, but then after COVID, I decided to go back into the working line.
Okay.
One of the things that that I used to have a problem with, which I learned to overcome as I grew older with maturity, is that when you have an idea, you cling on to that idea.
Right. That's right.
Any idea. In your mind, this idea is the money maker. It's the cash cow that everybody missed. And
that's exactly why you need a strategist.
Yes,
right?
Exactly. And what I learned from my then girlfriend, now wife, she's a numbers person. So she would always tell me, when you have an idea, come up with sort of your own projections based on market players, based on market history, and assess for yourself.
Correct.
And when I started doing that, I realized that a lot of the ideas I had were pretty crap. So, which is a good thing because it filters. And I wish I knew you earlier because I got into certain things which I shouldn't have. And then only after getting to, you're like, oh, the returns are not that great. No, not as what I've seen. So how do entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs validate their ideas?
Okay, first of all, you know that you're growing when you realize that whatever you're doing is crap.
Yes. Don't have to repeat it. I feel bad enough as it is. Yeah.
Okay. So if you're a budding entrepreneur, this is what I would say. If you're good at something, you don't care about the market.
If you're good at something, you don't care about?
The market.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
If you're doing good at what you're doing and you can get customers for whatever that you're doing, then that's the validation that you need. Okay. It is because we are creating identical products or services in the market that we talk about competition in the first place. And you need to get validation from the market, right? So what are the kind of validation that we are looking at? We are doing an external scan of the market usually, right? Basically what we want to know is, again, that's an assumption, okay? We will never get anything solid. It's not a well-defined answer to say that, okay, you should do this thing or you shouldn't do that thing.
Yeah.
It's still an assumption to a certain degree, right? Just that it's a better informed assumption.
Okay, of course,
right?
Yeah.
So we would want to look at what, if customers would react positively to whatever that you're offering, right? That is the validation. So around it, we are looking at SWOT analysis, pestle analysis. There's a lot of frameworks to do that. Yeah. But very fundamentally, you need to know if this is something that you want to devote your life into. This is something that you're good at. And you know that you can build a long-term rapport with your customers.
Okay.
That is all you need to know.
So that means you need to have a time period where you're sort of doing like market testing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Correct.
Now, another thing that, of course, a lot of entrepreneurs deal with or struggle with, even I faced this when I was in my early years, is finance. Financial support. Financing is not an easy thing. Banks are not very favorable to new entrepreneurs and all that. What are the options out there for budding entrepreneurs in terms of financing their ideas?
Okay, there's I think we are living in a very interesting time right now. I think we have more options for funding than ever before. I think traditionally we are looking at bootstrapping, which means you build yourself, you take out money, you work for somebody, and then you use that money to develop business from scratch and stuff. But now we have angel investors, venture capitalists, and whatnot. I think it boils down to what is the nature of your business. If you are, for example, an AI company, and you have a very disruptive product in the market, it makes more sense for you to get funding from a venture capitalist versus anything else.
Why?
Because I think we are looking at scalability here, right? As a tech company, replicating your product is much faster, happens much faster than anything else, right? In that sense, we are looking at scalability. You want to have funds for marketing, first of all. You want to reach to your end customers in a faster way. It's not about doing the right things, okay? It's about doing the things right.
Interesting. You are really full of quotes today. I love it. And it's not doing the right things, it's doing things right. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
And you need to do it quick. And venture capitalists are those who have those kind of funds which can help you to do that versus bootstrapping. I mean, angel investor, you have to be lucky for that. But venture capitalism is something that you can explore into for big amount, right? Versus, let's say you are having own bakery. You want to start your own bakery and you want to use organic products and whatnot. That would make sense for you to bootstrap versus an angel investor or venture capitalist. Yeah.
Because is that because the funding required for that is smaller?
That, and also because of the quickness, the time taken for you to scale and go to the market is relatively lower. The need for it is relatively lower versus a tech firm.
Oh, I get what you're saying. So the timing is what actually determines what sort of
exactly.
funding
So you have a physical outlet, right, and you're running a bakery. You don't need to do marketing for a whole Malaysia.
Okay, it's just that area.
Yeah. So you just need to set up search engine marketing, geo-specific marketing and stuff, which would cost way less when you compare to the reachability of a tech firm, right? We are looking at global scale at times, right? So that is the difference that we see.
Understood.
Yeah.
You know, nowadays in business, what I find very, I would say maybe because I'm of an older age, maybe I find it a bit annoying.
Really?
Yes, I'm 38.
Okay.
So, yeah. One of the things that I notice in business now is this word called disruption. Which is overthrown. It's abused. That word is raped, all the time. It's the first go-to for modern entrepreneurs. But should that be the focus when instead of focusing on disrupting an industry, the focus should be to deliver a business that answers the customer's call and answers it well?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think disruption is just a word that is being commonly used because it is seen attractive.
Exactly. Yeah.
But what will give you the value is when your customer likes it and pays for it.
Of course.
Right?
Of course.
I think as long as that is being fulfilled, I think disruption is just a word.
It's just a word, right?
Yeah.
Another thing that I also fail to understand nowadays is because when I look at business how it was before, see, I grew up in a small town, this very small town in Pahang called Triang, very small town, tiny.
Okay.
We used to call it a cowboy town. And it was always it's surrounded by smallholder plantations and all that. And I used to watch, because my mother was working in the bank, I used to see smallholders coming to the bank in very simple outfits, riding that black and white bicycle that Chinese fellas used to ride, right? But they would have millions in their account, right? Whereas as opposed to now, when the focus is often to expand quickly, to get into as many countries as you can. One very good example is Kaudim. Kaudim started with a service. I never thought it would work because I always have this philosophy that middleman businesses can never work, right? Because you lose the customer your vendor directly to the customer. They expanded to 5 countries so quickly, and then they just closed shop one day.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why are companies opting to spend their resources in this way, as opposed to refining themselves and gaining a respectable market share first, stability first, before growth?
I think it's their choice.
Okay.
I'm very sure it's their choice. They want to. I think what is being valued here is quick win and being an umbrella. Unicorn.
Unicorn, yes.
Umbrella.
Umbrella. What term is that? Yeah.
Unicorn. So they want to be a unicorn. So in order to get there, they want to rush everything. And oftentimes when you do those things, either you must have a very solid plan, an adaptive plan, or you tend to spill out certain things along the way, which then hunts you back.
Yes, it will. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So in such a company, when regardless of whether it's a new company, a startup, or anything, when you go into such a company, how do you dissect their business to come up with the strategies to suggest to them? What do you do? What's your method?
Okay, something that I've seen, a pattern that has been ongoing everywhere, is that the key people in the company are not aligned themselves.
Okay.
And again, as I told you, people problem is the toughest to solve.
Yeah.
Right? So getting them aligned to a single vision is the toughest part.
Okay.
And getting them into a common vision, we need to craft that, okay? Otherwise, whatever strategy that you do, if the team is not ready to adopt it and work on it and execute it, any strategy wouldn't work.
Okay.
And in order for you to create a very solid strategy, by the way, when I say solid strategy, right, it doesn't mean that a strategy that can be used for a long term. Okay. No strategy can be used for a long term.
You have to adapt to market forces. Right?
Yeah. It's always adaptable. I think one of the famous strategists in the world, they said that no strategy survives the first hit.
Interesting.
Okay?
Yeah.
No strategy can, survive the first hit, right? So when that is the case, the strategy has to be adaptable. And if people are not willing to execute the strategy, then it's pointless.
Understood.
Right? So the big elephant in the room is to align the people into a single page.
Okay.
Right? Having conversations, having a session together. And that is something that strategists will mediate.
Okay.
And eventually craft that vision. Where do you want to really see the business going? Do you want to be more profitable? Or do you want to reduce the cost? Or you want to increase the revenue? Or you want to just provide good value to your customers? Now, what is it?
So that means you have to pick your objective, your target market, and then work from there.
Exactly.
That's the starting point.
Yeah. So you need to pick the battle. It's not that you pick the battle.
I like.
You let the team pick the battle.
Okay.
Whatever suits them best, whatever they see. And then you assess that battle if they have resources for it. And based on that, you create a step by step. Okay, here is what you need to do within the first 3 months. And then this is what you need to see, measure. Once it gets there, then you need to follow a different strategy.
Nowadays, because of the business world has really grown, I would say. There are more players than ever before. If you compare business world in the 60s to now, my goodness, it's a vast difference, right? But the business world itself is a red ocean.
Absolutely.
And it's getting harder and harder to stand out, right?
Because we keep on creating the same product in one way or another.
One way or another, right? Yeah. So the ocean becomes darker and darker red as the days go by. What would you recommend to businesses, maybe small businesses, maybe businesses coming up? How do they differentiate themselves? What strategy should they employ to differentiate their offerings from the market, from the competition? Sorry.
Okay. Let's do the analogy of an onion market.
Onion market. All right, let's use this.
Let's go to microeconomics basics.
Okay.
So you have a street full of onion sellers. Okay. Same product. That is that is what is happening now, right? Okay. Same product. Okay. How do you differentiate one from another?
No idea.
Okay, let's say you walk into an onion market now. Who would you pick?
I let my wife pick. I have no idea. I have no idea how to differentiate one onion. I take the closest bag.
Yeah. That is a good answer. I would pick based on the person who's selling it. If they are friendly enough, if they are offering. Okay, let's say if you take 1 kilo, you can put 2 onions in the basket.
Okay.
That is what is going on. All right. That is the kind of competition that we are looking at. But another strategy is to get away from that ocean and go into a blue ocean. That is to not have a competition yet and try to build a market around it.
Okay.
There are two ways to do it.
Okay.
So if the products are identical, you would go by marketing. You look at prices, you look at discounts, you look at customer service and all that. But if it's in a blue ocean, you would attract people who share the same goal, same vision, right? So there is that two way of doing things.
Way of doing it. Okay.
Again, resources is the
key thing.
Is the key thing.
So that's where I guess your suggestion of which funding you should use comes into the question here.
That's right.
One of the things that I do, like for example, very recently I was evaluating I had this idea, like I told you, I'm always filled with ideas.
That's good.
To set up an educational app. So the idea being that, tutors, it basically Uberized tutors. So everyone students can have direct access to tutors, share their questions and get answers immediately. And then I spoke to someone who advised me and said that there are already people doing this for free, right? For free. They provide this service for free. So why get into it? And I said, yeah, that's true. For me, when I see a market, when there's a player providing something for almost nothing, when it becomes a price war, get out, right? That's my philosophy. I don't know whether you will agree with this. What are the markers that businesses should look out for in a market to tell them, hey, I shouldn't go into this or I should get into this?
The best marker is that you're good at it.
Okay.
So let's go back to that particular case, right? You want to start an educational lab. So what do you think would make you different from whatever that is offering right now? Just because it's free, people will use it?
No. I was not going to pay free. I will charge because I love one of your Instagram posts. I love it. I kept on looking at it today. It said if you don't have a paying customer, that's like having a ship without a sail.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah. So I wanted to charge, but someone then advised me then said that there is existing apps in this market that provide the service for free. So how can you compete, right? So that's why I'm wondering, like, what other markers would you suggest people? Say, if I wanted to enter a new market or a new country, what sort of indicators should I be looking out for to either tell me, yes, do this, or no, stay away?
You need to see if there's a need in the market for such app. I think what you're doing here is more to social entrepreneurship. Right?
Okay.
It involves some social issue like educational gap and stuff like that. So we are looking at economies that have wider gap that would be more interested in apps like this, right? So that is one way to look at. Another way that we can look is also look at the buying power. Okay, let's say if you want to charge, what is the buying power like? Understanding the market. What are some social norms that may restrict the usage of this app? For example, maybe a village, right? They have values where education must be free. Anything related to education must be free. So in that context, it would be tougher for you to penetrate unless you do other interventions, right? So we need to choose the battle like that. There's a lot of ways. There's a million different ways you can try to identify if a market is right for you. But another way is to look at if this is a battle that you want to carry. I've seen a lot of people who avoid doing the things that they love doing, avoid doing the things that they're good at doing, just because somebody somewhere told them that there's already somebody doing it.
Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
I think
interesting.
That is something that a strategist shouldn't do in the first place.
Okay.
I shouldn't be in a position where I tell you not to do something that you really love doing, or something that you're really good at doing. Okay,
interesting. Another thing that, again, sticking to that post on your Instagram, which I really love, by the way, fantastic. It sort of grabbed my attention for one reason is that when in about 2016, I had set up my own PR agency.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
Which I only closed down because of the pandemic. No pandemic, I'll still be running it. Right. So when you are first starting, and I had no network, I had no contact, I have no rich family member to guide me.
No risk.
No, a lot of risk because I left my job to do it.
Okay.
It's like there is that sort of battle that every new entrepreneur goes through, whereby you have to juggle, this need to get paying customers versus, clients trying to press you for the cheapest price they can get,
Right.
not getting paid for the work that you do, the exact amount, versus possibly losing this client to a competitor because the market is so competitive if I don't take that deal. How does an entrepreneur juggle this and come out the winner?
It's a complex challenge, isn't it?
It is very complex. It is very complex, yes.
Okay. Again, it boils down to the money in market analogy.
Okay.
Right. So if you're starting out and you're offering something that is already being in the market, I would say that it is much more safer for you
Why?
because you don't need to spend on convincing your customers that this product is valuable to them.
True. Okay.
Okay. So you're looking at limited resources
Okay.
and stuff, right? So let's say in Subang, one day there was a big explosion of bubble tea.
Okay.
Okay. So somebody brought that concept and everybody started to replicate it
Yep.
because they see that, especially budding entrepreneurs, right? First time entrepreneurs, they started to form bubble tea. And now you're looking at everywhere, even in Ipoh now, you can see it, right? So that is more safer because there's a trend for it and you can just, so the trend is like a bus. You can just get into it and then
hop
just
on.
ride
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
So you can just put there, I'm selling bubble tea and people would go for it. Less risk in that sense,
Okay.
right? So if you're doing something new, then you need to convince the customer that would actually bring value to them, which can be costly in terms of, marketing
Yes.
and stuff.
Marketing will be
right?
off the budget.
So I would suggest if you're starting out, it is okay to replicate. It is okay to start something that everybody is doing and eventually find your way into a blue ocean.
Okay. That's
Right.
interesting.
Because there's limitation of resource. People often forgetting that. They're
Yeah.
looking at the sky
Yes.
And-
Building sandcastles in the sky. Yes.
and they don't know where to head next. That is the biggest problem here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. Now, now, especially thanks to COVID, there's been a influx of advice and people
Yeah.
who are pushing everyone to get online.
Yes.
This is the
Yes.
push, e-commerce, digital, all that, right? Is that always the right strategy for businesses to go online?
Depends on the nature of the product, okay, and the scalability. So again, if you look at a software company, software is scalable. You can just plug and play anywhere. In fact, right? So in that sense, you may not need a physical presence in the first place, right? But versus if you have a bakery, then you need a physical presence. People, let's say I have a birthday function to attend, I want to buy something. I know exactly where to go at what time. I know what time would you be open. I can just go and grab and go, right? So there has to be a hybrid. It has to be a mix. Like what some shops are doing, like bakery, they offer, walk-in customers and they also deliver through Grab and stuff. Right?
Yeah.
So it's a hybrid model that we're looking at. I think in the future, we will see more like this. Eventually, we will be a hybrid of everything that will improve our profitability as well.
That's true. I
There
agree with
won't be one way to find this, success or profitability. There will be multiple ways.
I think also one thing that has to be considered by businesses is the customer experience. Because like, for example, since you bring up bakery, during the pandemic, I set up my own online bakery. So then I expanded to Penang, Johor and KL Selangor. Then I decided, okay, I have customers now. I have connections with many bakers. So why don't I go into setting up an online store for bakery ingredients, right? Which makes sense because now
makes sense. Yeah.
But then when I spoke to bakers and when I went to these bakery shops, the popular ones, they love going there. That experience of going there, spending hours looking at it, is for them, it's very, very therapeutic, I say, enjoyable. So then I thought, wait a minute, that means that experience will not be there for them if it was online. They still want to go despite the parking and the travel. They don't care. They want to go. They love it, spend time the weekend. So that's why I think that also should be a focus, right? Your customer's experience how to enhance it and what does better.
Correct. So whatever you are saying right now is customer loyalty, right? So they have used a particular system and they got a hang of it. They found it very easy. They found that the ingredients that they get is something that is satisfactory and they can get it anytime. So that's the kind of experience that they get. And they wouldn't want to go to somebody new unless that has better experience.
Better experience,
right?
yeah.
They wouldn't go otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. Because in fact, now on Netflix, there's this documentary that I'm watching. It's about the birth of the vape cigarette, right?
Yeah.
And they were talking about smoking and how the problem with smoking wasn't the fact that you were smoking, but the experience you get when you smoke. So that's what they wanted to replicate.
Exactly.
That customer experience was still there. Not that I'm condoning smoking or anything, but I'm just saying, using an example. Now, one more post you had on your Instagram, which I loved, was you said that just because something is complex doesn't mean it's correct. Right, which I love. Again, where do you get your quotes from, by the way? Is that your own?
I don't know.
It just comes one day.
Shower.
Yeah. You think about it, yeah. And I completely agree with that because I think back to my example about Kaudim and all this, companies nowadays tend to go the complex route all the time. They want to, they overburden themselves with all this jargon and these things when they just keep it simple, keep it straightforward. One example I like to give is websites. There's this very nice book called Don't Make Me Think, which is about websites and how CEOs of companies often get it wrong because they want to make their websites all, beautiful and stylish, when actually what they should be doing is minimizing the entire customer purchase travel. So just go in there, get what they want and come out.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
Well, why do companies then still focus on complexity then and not on doing it correct?
Okay, first of all, when I say that, I was thinking when I was showering, that's not true. being part of being a strategist, we need to educate ourselves.
Yeah, of course.
So it's a constant journey for us, right? So yeah, I learned it somewhere. I probably learned it somewhere. Okay.
So yeah.
And the thing about making things simple, one of the well-known strategists, right? They said that the best strategy is always simple because it is very human in nature. Right. And that is something that we often forget, right? We do things because we want to put ourselves in an elitist perspective, but it doesn't work, right? Because customers are simple. They want experience. They want a sense of belonging. And if you're not giving that, then it's a failure in that sense. And that is the ingredient for failure among many businesses as well.
Yeah.
Because it's not simple.
Speaking of which, and this is not something that I prepared you for, but I just want to pick your brain about it. You look at Apple. Let's talk about Apple. Apple is a very unique animal in the sense that they basically have the phone that everybody else has.
You're talking about the Apple or the beaten apple?
No, the Apple, the smartphone. The beaten apple. Yeah, the beaten apple, yes. The beaten apple, not Apple's itself. But they created this product, which is basically, it's just exactly what everybody else is offering, right? And maybe they were the first in the market with that product, but then everybody copied them. But how did they end up generating a community that is so loyal to them that, like I know people, no matter what the price, they will still buy an Apple.
Yeah.
No matter if Apple is trying to steal money by not giving the right jack or the right headphone with the thing, no, I'm still buying it. How? How do you do that?
Okay, I think the keyword here is exclusivity. And people who like to be exclusive tend to look for exclusive stuff. And Apple is exclusive in that sense that if you have one product in the market, you need to fulfill the ecosystem to make you feel like exclusive.
Like you're part of a community.
Yeah, like you're part of a community, right? And they like a sense of belonging to it, right? Because Apple is, I think their marketing is in a way that it shows rich, kids, rich kids, rich people and stuff. People want to belong to that, okay? It's just like any other luxury brands that are out there. Maybe the materials are the same. The point of sourcing may be the same. But what creates the difference is how they sell it. what kind of sense of belonging they give, right? So that makes a lot of difference in that sense. Yeah.
When I talk to you, what's amazing is I'm getting the sort of hint that, and again, please correct me if I'm wrong, that being a strategist has a lot to do with marketing.
Yeah, definitely. You cannot run away from marketing.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so it does, because a lot of things you're saying, I'm like, hey, wait a minute, because I'm a marketer. I love to study about marketing, and I'm like, wait, I'm listening to a lot of things that are interesting. Now,
if you have a good product, but you're not able to market it, it's again a ship
pointless.
without
ship without sail. Yeah. Interesting. So now that if I'm not mistaken, in the end of 2021, was it on New Year's Eve, 2021 or 2022? I can't remember. What was one of those years? One of the most searched questions on Google was, "How do I start my own business?" Okay, so. And as a person who was in business, and I'll definitely get back to it because I can't. That's just who I am.
I don't think you can work for somebody.
Yeah, I can't. Yes, I can't.
You're not that kind.
Yeah. See, you just met me, and my goodness, I hope my boss doesn't watch this. If you are, increase my salary, then I'll stay. No, I'm just joking. But you have worked with a lot of entrepreneurs, right? What are the defining qualities that you see in an entrepreneur that you have found that makes them stand out from the pack?
They're willing to fail.
Willing to fail. How that's it?
Yeah. So no matter, I'm not sure if you watch this. It's a Tamil movie, okay? It's I think one of the most awarded. I think one of the top films right now. Surarai Potru.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that is the quality of entrepreneur.
Okay.
You face a lot of challenges. Yes. There's a lot of business uncertainty. People will leave you in the middle towards the success, but you still keep going. You have the fighting spirit in you, and that's what make a good entrepreneur versus somebody who can work for somebody else.
Okay.
Right.
And by the way, just to interject, I mean, we're not saying that there's one is better than the other. It's just it's just each of them have their own qualities. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. But then go on. Yeah.
Okay. A common pattern that I see with entrepreneurs is that they do something, they offer something that is very close to their childhood memories.
Okay, interesting. Tell me about this.
They see a problem. Okay, when they were growing up, they're exposed to certain problem.
Okay.
Let's say health crisis or, cost of living or cost of healthcare. And growing up, they wanted to disrupt that. They want to change that.
Okay.
And that what makes a good entrepreneur. That is a pattern that I've always seen.
That they want to solve a problem.
They want to solve a problem that they've been seeing all the time throughout their childhood, growing up.
Yeah, but that's something also that I feel that a lot of people, a lot of businesses that I sometimes, because in my job, I get to see all this, I get some decks and all that from people who are looking for investment or want to grow their company or whatever. A lot of them don't ask the question, what is your business? What is your idea solving? What problem is it trying to solve? What gap is it trying to fill?
Right.
That question people don't really ask, and so that's
a very crucial question that often goes unnoticed.
Yeah, and I think the problem with that is that because most of the times you will find that what you want to do doesn't really solve anything, right? Or maybe I guess if you felt you were, that's fine, but that question I think is very important to decide whether should I go on with the business or not. Right?
That's exactly why you need a strategist, because
there we go. We need
you often deviate from what they initially planned because of market conditions, business uncertainty, people around you, you tend to deviate.
Okay.
And the question that you ask is very powerful. What is this idea is going to solve? And when we align the team towards that direction, then you'll see that everything is working out.
That's true. Now, you also talk a lot about people, right? Which is very important. I mean, I've seen it, I've experienced it. Having the right people in your organization is always the most important thing. In fact, I always believe that you should always hire someone who is way, way, way smarter than you. If you are running a company...
Is that so?
Yes, I always feel that.
Okay.
The reason is because if I'm working with someone who I know more then it's going to fail. I don't mind being the dumbest CEO in a company as long as my staff is really all superstars. I mean, because like one experience I had was I was doing this event very, very early on, and in Sunway, and I saw Tansi Jaficha, right? Now, Tansi Jaficha is a visionary.
Yeah.
He is, right? So for this event, he had invited some of his group company CEOs, right? My God, impressive guys. Impressive guys. They look the part. They're very confident, the way they talk. And I was like, wow, that's the power of having powerful people. Another good example is there's this very nice book called The Ride of My Life by Bob Iger, who's the CEO of Disney. And he said that when he offered to buy Pixar from Steve Jobs said, yes, but you have to bring my team with me because they are the ones who are actually running the ship. They are the ideas, right? Yeah. So how important is it for an entrepreneur to find the right people, and what traits should he or she be looking for in a person to identify that this person is right for my company, right for my team?
Correct. So there are two ways to look at it. Either you go for somebody who's high performing, or you look at somebody who's trustworthy.
Okay.
That is, I think, something, an explanation that is given by Simon Sinek.
Okay.
All right. It's beautiful that you spoke about Sunway because I studied at Sunway.
Awesome.
All right. And I spoke to Dr. Elizabeth.
Okay.
Okay. She was the CEO, I guess. I'm not sure if she's okay. Of Sunway Education and Sunway Medical. I think that Tansi Jeffrey Cha, has put a lot of trust in the people he delegate his work to, and it doesn't build over time. It isn't built quickly.
Yeah.
It is built over time, right? So we are looking at seniors who have been working there for like 20 years and stuff. So how do we establish trustworthy is by continuously proving ourselves that we are committed to it, right? I think one currently what a lot of businesses are doing is when they hire a talent, they have this probation period. That is the probation period where the talent can prove themselves that they're committed to it. I would say that if you're an entrepreneur, technical skills, any skills for that matter, can be easily built.
All done by AI nowadays. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes.
What you need are people who you can trust. So if you're going to be out for a day, the business should run as how it should. And for that, you need trustworthy people who constantly proving themselves, constantly committing themselves. And that is far more important than high-performing candidates.
Yeah, interesting.
That is something that I've seen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. You know, another thing that I noticed is that one of my heroes in business when I was in college and uni was Tony Fernandez. Yeah. I worshipped him. My God, I remember
worshipped.
Yes, I worshipped him. Yeah. No. Now because I'm older, you realize that, hey, come on, what you doing? But I tell you something, and this is serious. This is honest. When my friends on Fridays used to call me out, come, let's go out, have a few beers or whatever. What I would say, no, I'm not going. But what I would do, I would buy some beer. Obviously, it's Friday night. Sit in my house and then watch all his quarterly financial briefings and meetings. I was just obsessed with the guy.
I can relate.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That was, I'll be watching and I'm like learning and okay. And then I'll be watching all the CEOs, Bob Iger, all these people. I love them. But one thing I noticed about them, and these people, this is, I think, so important to succeed, is they may not be the smartest in the room. They may not be the most technically gifted. They may not be the most, savants in business or anything. But they have the ability of sort of, it's like for a lesser word, if in the Malay language, the word is jumpy, right? They can make their staff, their employees work for them, and they love them. No matter what they do, the employees will die for them, right? I've seen.
And how does he do that?
Exactly. How does he do that? I have no idea.
A common vision to create a low-cost airline that is affordable for Malaysian families to travel. That is the vision that brought people together, right? You may not attract people because of the salary that you're giving, whatever the rewards that you're giving, but you can easily win people's heart by creating a common vision. And that's a secret.
That's a secret.
That's
right?
a secret.
Yeah, I guess that's
People
true.
would die for him, right?
Yeah.
Because there's a common vision. Like Elon Musk too.
Yeah.
No matter how many times he failed, his projects failed last time. People were still up to help him, right? Even though recently he was, I'm not sure if during COVID or what, but he laid off certain percentage, but they were still supporting him, which is weird, right?
It is very weird. Yeah, it's very weird. Yeah.
But because of that vision to bring humankind, a space-faring humankind is what created that, spirit to help Elon Musk to succeed, right? And that is the secret.
That is interesting. Yeah,
Bringing people together. Again, that's a people problem.
That's people problem. People are the biggest problem now. Now, biggest problem. In fact, I always say that, when you are running a business, the priceless assets are the human capital.
Absolutely.
And you have to invest in that.
We need to stop looking at human as capital in the first place.
Okay. What are they then?
I think we are looking at human as a resource. Okay.
What's the difference?
I mean, the difference is, if you look at human as a capital, you are looking at just like any other resource.
Okay.
But human, on the other hand, are something that you need to cultivate.
Okay. Interesting.
Right?
Yeah, you need to empower and all this.
Yeah.
And that's one thing though. I've met some people recently in my life that and they are sort of polar opposites. I've met leaders, business owners, who are very, very fearful of empowering their employees. And I find it ridiculous that you would run an organization, but you wouldn't want to hire the best or allow your employees to become the best.
Because they want to shine.
They want to shine, right? And I noticed one thing. On the other side, when people who are willing to empower their employees, willing to say, hey, you know what, go for this training, we'll fund you, go for it and all that, their companies do way better.
Yeah.
And those employees who are there stay longer. Of course, nowadays people will leave. That's the eventuality. People will leave because people want to try different things, whatever. The time of loyalty to one company forever is gone.
It's a traditional
way, right? Like I think in my family, the last was my parents. One company, that's it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But why is it that entrepreneurs are afraid of this? Why aren't they, when the results are there, that they show the difference, that your staff stays longer, your company becomes better, your operations become more efficient? Why don't they choose to empower?
Because that's not always the case.
Okay.
Right. I think it is a fear that I have built something, and if I empower somebody else to do the same job, they can easily go and replicate it. Probably that is what it is, fear motivated. Again, it's not real.
It's not real,
right. It's fear motivated.
Yeah.
Which means there's an illusion in place, right? So that can be a reason, but that's, I wouldn't say it's right or wrong because it's businesses. They ask, right? And but I personally stand for training
employees,
of
course,
so that they can become better than me.
Yeah.
So that they can find a better opportunity than what I'm giving.
Yeah. And I've met so many, not so many, actually a few people I can count on one hand. Like because of the empowering of the employees, their companies are doing very well.
Yeah,
very well. Very, very well.
So just yesterday I saw a quote on Instagram, right? When you become a leader, your job is no longer to sell the product or improve the product or the service. Your job is to empower the team that does that for you.
That's true.
I think that is a very good explanation to that.
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Yeah.
Now, coming back to you, and you do, besides strategies in the world of business, I'm sorry, we talk a lot about business because I love business. So and talking to someone who's met...
You can talk for days.
Yes, I can. You should see all the books in my house. I love it. But you also provide services where you help people. I saw on your website, you call it people strategist, right?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Okay. So this is something that I see firsthand. The future of business is personal. Okay. I think that is also because of the emergence of AI, that for you to flourish an idea from beginning to, success, you need fewer people to help you.
Fewer people?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which means AI can do a lot of things. especially the repetitive things for you. Which means if you're running a small scale business and you want to just survive, you want to make a living out of it just for yourself, just to pay your mortgage and everything, AI is sufficient for that. It can actually create a new stream of income for you to help you get there. So what I see is it's a trend, global trend, that the future of business would be personal by nature. You may not see a huge MNC, okay, but instead it will be separated by different offerings, and it will be like that, right? When that's the case, instead of I think empowering the business and empowering the people would be the same.
So are you talking more about solopreneurs?
Yeah, solopreneurs is one of them. Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
In your Instagram also, sorry, I feel like I've been stalking your Instagram. But
it's made to stalk. So.
Yes, made to stalk. Yes, exactly. You brought out one point where you said that the remote working is the way to go.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And now we are seeing the death of work. In fact, there's a book that I haven't gotten, but I saw it on MPH. The title read, The Death of Work and the Birth of the Gig Economy. The birth of gig, right? So more and more people, employees are opting away from fixed employment to go to freelancing and all that.
Right.
Does this growth of freelancers damage the business world?
It could be. It depends on the services. Okay, let's say I need a design service.
There's one here. She does.
This one there. Are you a freelancer?
She can be.
Can be. So traditionally what we do is we find for design companies, right?
Yeah.
Who would have all their designers and whatnot. But now we can just go to fever.com.
Yes.
And we look at freelancers, great reviews, fraction of the cost. Why not I go for the freelancer, right?
Yeah.
That's what is happening.
So it's a price game.
It is a threat in a way to businesses. So the challenge for businesses is to create better value for their clients. There are some who provide services like they do offer more of a subscription offering. So businesses can rethink of different business models to combat this.
Yeah,
there's a lot of ways to do that.
So in terms of people strategies, people strategy, what sort of help do you provide on the personal level?
Okay. Mostly on personal branding, and as I said, the future of business is going to be personal, and which means the narrative is no longer on your company's branding. It's about how you brand yourself, which should be reflected. Right?
Yeah.
Even now, I think businesses, rather than spending too much money on just branding their company, they are empowering their employees to shine.
Okay.
And eventually that creates the name for the company brand, right? So that is happening right now. That's a trend that I see. So I offer personal branding. I will also work with politicians.
Really?
Yeah.
Such as? You can't tell the names? Come on. Why is everybody you tell comes on this show says,
but very young politicians. Very young politicians.
Does his name start with S and with Q? No, okay. It could be, right? Because I saw your website. Oh, okay, fair enough. Okay.
Maybe not.
Maybe somebody else.
Yeah. So I work with politicians to help them to clarify what is their promise.
Okay.
I think that's a big issue right
now. So tell me then, I'm curious about this. What are your charges like for personal branding or business personal strategizing?
Okay. I think it's not a one size fits all. Of course, besides providing a profitable business for myself, strategy consulting, I also want to see people succeed. And these charges can always be negotiated.
Okay, awesome.
Right?
Yeah. This is what every Malaysian loves to hear.
Yeah.
Negotiable.
Negotiation.
Yeah.
What is not negotiable?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So, but in order for me to openly tell my charges, I think that will, of course, freak out many people.
Don't tell them. It's like fishing. You put the net out, catch them, then we see which one you pull out.
That's what they call leads pipeline.
Yes, correct. Yes.
So I would rather hear them. What are the challenges? What are the things that I'm fit to help? And based on that, craft a proper proposal based on that. Okay. I think that's the better way.
Right.
Yeah.
So, by the way, to y'all watching, we actually have a call tomorrow. So, discuss some of the ideas that I have. It's still on, right?
Still on.
Yeah, please, still on. Now, last but not least, before we end, we've come to the end. We could go on. You're such a fun guy to talk to. But let's test your skills now. I did not include this in the questionnaire to test your skills. Let's give you a suggestion.
Okay.
So this podcast per se, Goodcast Show, what shall I do? What's my strategy?
I think you're very good. You're a very good presenter.
Oh, thank you.
You need to keep polishing that.
Okay.
I think that is the value that you'll be giving out.
No, I think one thing I like, which is why I'm quite intrigued by the personal brand, because I'm not a personal branding person. I'm a...
Yeah, I can see that. But you're very good at speaking, and I think you should leverage on
That is the most thinly veiled insult I've ever heard. Yes, you're right. You're horrible at this.
I think you need to take more pictures of yourself
Oh, please.
and build a social platform.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You know, when the taking pictures is something I hate, but I will listen to you. You're the personal brander. I will listen to you.
I went to TikTok and searched for the Goodcast Show. I saw you there, but I couldn't find for your profile on Instagram.
Yes, I put it private.
I think that is something that you can work on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So let's keep talking about that on Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah. So last but not least, before we close the show, firstly, it's been so fun talking to you, and I think I look forward to our conversation tomorrow as well, and coming back on this podcast for more discussion on business. But sum it up in a few sentences. What's your advice to new entrepreneurs out there who are going to get into business now? What should they do?
Identify what you're good at. What are the things that you wouldn't mind devoting your life into, and keep doing that.
Perfect. Guys, if you guys want to get in touch, if you guys have a business, you have even yourself, you want to improve your personal brand, if you're a non-profit, this is the guy to talk to. He's worked with a lot of great people. I won't say the politician, but let's just hint that the logo is black and white. It's on his website. Okay, I'm not saying it's on your website. Okay, blame him. All right, so head to his website. So what's your website again?
Kajendra Govindasamy.com.
By the way, his links will be on all the video postings on our YouTube, Facebook, not Instagram, but YouTube and Facebook. And I'll be tagging him on all the TikTok videos as well. So if you guys want to get in touch, please drop him a message, and I will update you all on our call on Friday and just to tell you how awesome this guy is.
Review
time. Thank you so much. As always, follow, subscribe. You guys want to come on, drop me a message, share your thoughts in your comments, and I'll see you soon. Take care. Bye.